acid in our body. And that's exactly what you do for mice, and nobody does that for anybody of us. So we need to take care of that ourselves. You know how fit they are online. They come with things, and I wonder, where do they have that from? Yes, we have it from YouTube, we have it from there.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's session of Social Commerce Give It Up, where our guests answer 15 questions in their own words. Today, we are extremely privileged to have Wolfgang Steiner, who's the CEO of the Worldwide Breathing Network. And he is here to answer the questions and share a little bit about what he does and who he is. So welcome, Wolfgang. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Are you ready to get started with the first question?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what are you doing professionally and why? What's your why behind it?
Okay, well, that's an interesting question. I'm I'm breathing coach, natural breathing, and why I'm doing that is I was called to it 22 years ago, and I literally just found out about 3 years ago why I'm doing it. And through a beautiful process I had with a dear coach, lady, I realized that breathing was a significant part in my entire life. And I had, while I was in the belly of my mom, while my birth and after birth, three almost death experiences.
My
What
goodness.
led, what led to 33 years quite often being sick. And when I started breathing after these 33 years, this disappeared because my channels opened. And I want to offer that to people to basically release whatever blocks them in their life. And the amazing thing is, I wasn't working on my blocks, I was just working on my conscious breathing. And my
Oh, wow.
invitation to people is to take it easy and light and to clear things without necessarily going and needing to know what we need to do it. There is a lot of headache behind. So just
Mhm.
literally clearing anything and realizing possibly while or later in pictures what actually disappeared and just enjoying the lightness and the flow in life.
Oh my gosh. So I think that for a lot of people, people don't consciously think about breathing, right? It's just something that happens. So that's amazing to know that it has that power. I mean, there is breath work, but I think that it's still something that's not, in general
Yeah.
life, there's a lot of mainstream things that are known about that. So,
Well,
so can you tell me?
just one short word. I mean, we can consciously breathe and we
Mhm.
unconsciously breathe anyway, so we cannot forget about it. And that is exactly the gift where we can put the consciousness and the subconsciousness to one point where the subconsciousness
Mhm.
and the consciousness actually interact, and we can increase our consciousness into the subconsciousness. And this happens without us wanting. This is just what breathing is. This is the power of conscious breathing. And it's
Wow.
just not very spread in our society. It was used to be used by indigent uh, people in their
Mhm.
celebrations. They went into this space of trance and expanding their consciousness into the subconscious. It's just not part of our social behavior,
Wow.
and it's there. It never went away, and
Uh-huh.
it's just our shift in practicing it. And I make a free webinar every week if somebody's interested. I talk about it every week in a free webinar so people can get informed.
So you have a free webinar? Okay. How can we
Yes.
connect with that? Where can we find that?
Well, I don't know how people communicate with you. There is simply a registration, Zoom registration link. I can provide it to you.
Oh, sure, that's great. Yes. If you can do that, I will definitely add that to
Yes,
the end
yeah,
of this
yeah,
interview because yeah, that would be very, very valuable information. And just to
yeah.
recap, you said that the breathing blockages for you started at the time of birth. I think that's something that we wouldn't be aware of. Um, so,
Well, we just listened to Sigmund Freud that all our troubles today started somehow in the phase of being born until 3 years, the time we don't consciously remember. And in this
mhm,
time, things happened and they repeat over and over again. And for me, it was obviously a very significant experience with this breathing, which I identified because through my breathing uh, training, which I made 22 years ago, we were led to ask our parents about this time. Whoever asked their parents about how was my birth? How did you feel?
mhm.
How was your relationship with your mother, with your husband, with your wife? How
Oh, wow.
was the situation? So we had very deep questions and nobody thinks of that. So I went back and asked my parents about that. That's how I found out about these things.
That is very interesting because I myself I work in science and medical research. So I believe that everything is energy and everything is chemistry.
Yeah.
And with the mice at work, my team looks after mouse research models of human disease. So, animal research unfortunately is still very necessary, and we owe a lot to the advances in human, animal, just generally medicine overall to what we have found out through medical research with animals. Anyway, my point in mentioning this is just that my job and my team's job is basically to keep these mice at a very balanced chemistry and neurobiological level, just basically keep their all the chemicals in their body, their nervous system in check. Because if not, then things are going to be skewed. There's going to be floods of chemicals. They're going to be stressed. Research results aren't going to be able to be processed. And I get what you're saying, like chemicals, that our state of mind, our stress levels affect us so
Yeah.
much unknowingly. And even when we're young, yes, that makes a lot of sense to me that it starts with the stress you experience, before you're born and your parents' relationship. You're right.
Yeah, and through breathing, we breathe out a certain amount of CO2, and that creates the balance of alkalic and sour acid in our body. And that's exactly what you do for mice, and nobody does that for anybody of us. So we need to take care of that ourselves.
Mhm. Right. Amazing. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the Worldwide Breathing Circle?
Well, yes, it's interesting. I live in the Serbian mountains, so I'm very remote. And five, 6 years ago, 2018, I was called to breathe with people because I created a house here and I didn't work for a while because I was really fulfilled with building and woodwork and how you can see on my
Mhm.
wooden house.
Yes.
And suddenly there was the call to breathe with people. And I was far off and I thought, how could I possibly do that? And if you make the math, that was before COVID, so nobody was
Mhm.
online. And certainly breathing was not a practice to be practiced online. Everybody was in one-on-one. So
Mhm.
I reached out to people and had a look who is doing that. So I had to think about it and took it on to think how can I breathe online with people.
Mhm.
So 2018, 31st of December, I made the first breathing with a group of dear friends. And this feedback of of my friends was so touching that I was very surprised that this online breathing had such a direct impact. So 2019 in January, I created the worldwide breathing, which is the conscious breathing today worldwide. And since then, I'm practicing that. It's an activity. It's weekly, every Saturday. Actually, it is in 2 hours today.
Hmm.
And the idea is actually to create a space where people can come and weekly practice their conscious breathing on a very affordable, very accessible way. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to, nobody needs to come to you. We simply switch on, take an hour and practice and cultivate this active conscious inhale.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the
That's
that's the
that's
that's the
amazing.
breathing.
And I think if there was one good thing to come out of the pandemic, it is the ability to connect the world online. I think that's very
Well,
powerful. I love what
well,
you're
we
doing.
well, we had it before, but through the pandemic, it got very aware that it could be that this is important, so people opened. And today, people are more open than before. And that's
Yes,
beautiful.
yes. Okay, so I'm going to get the information about that from you as well, and we can add it at the end of
Mhm.
this interview. So I'm sure there's people who
Thank
would
you.
love to like check that out and join in.
Yes,
Um,
just direct mail me and we figure out. It's very simple.
okay, okay. And in a side conversation we had before this interview, you had a sort of, I guess, a mission statement that I thought was pretty powerful, about breathing with people around the world. Could you share that? Because I really,
Yes.
really love what you said.
Yeah, thank you for asking. My mission is to take one conscious breath with all humanity. So having
Love that.
one moment where everybody on the planet takes in the same moment consciously one conscious breath. And I think when we do that, we live in a different consciousness and several things we might think are not nice things in the world wouldn't be able to happen anymore.
Wow, that's very powerful. And I think you're doing some traveling around that. Can you let us know what's kind of happening? I think you're actually going to people to sort of facilitate that a little bit.
Yes, I was last year in Mumbai for an experience, and it actually occurred that the through several speeches I was encouraged and inspired to leave my home and to go to the seven continents and to bring the breath in a 3 days breathing experience to local people on every continent and make this experience live. So we are traveling right now to several continents, and we will be in Africa in 2 months, end of June, and in May I will be in the UK, and in July we will be in Toronto,
Wow, you're
and
going to
in
be very
November
close
we'll
to
be
me.
in yes, so in November November we will be in Thailand. So we'll go on every continent. So if anybody's interested in a life experience, in a 3 days life experience to integrate the breath and experience this being with other people, where the result
Mhm.
is very interesting.
Wow.
Yes, it's very
Okay. And how
welcome.
how could they join in? Would they also just directly contact you with the contact information I share?
First of all, yes. And I also have a free weekly meeting, actually 2 weekly meetings where people can ask questions. And I'm happy to
Um,
share that with you as well, and you can provide the information.
okay,
And people
great.
can
Definitely.
contact me directly as well.
Okay, that's perfect. It sounds like a beautiful experience that you're sharing with so many people, higher consciousness, and definitely, I feel like it's going to be very powerful. So I'm going to definitely make sure people know how to get in touch with you at the end of this interview. So,
Yeah,
all
thanks for
right.
asking.
Of course. Well, that's very amazing. I love that so much. All right. So that was question one. We got a few more. So I guess we'll move to question two, but thank you for sharing what you're passionate about. I love that.
Well, we
All
could
right.
talk for a little bit more. I think the other questions might be faster.
Yeah, is there anything else you would like to share about the breathing, the breath work, your passion and mission for that? Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Well, just the people who started with it had amazing breakthroughs, which I could experience and observe. And this is the biggest gift because that was why I went on the journey to
Right.
make this, what I experienced, in their way available to other people. So seeing other people, seeing the shifts in them is the biggest gift for me.
Wow. So what are some things that you witnessed coming out of this for people?
People's life changed mainly through breathing. You connect to your inner core and people realize why they are here. And I
Wow.
think this is the most important thing, that we are not running after something other people tell us, but we really can provide for other people. But we do it to actually create our vision, where we also consciously choose if we serve another person or another company. For instance,
Mhm.
a company, a work is perfect to receive finances where I can realize my vision. But I'm
Right.
not working for the company. I'm working for me because this company gives me money for what I serve for the. So the picture, the mindset shifts, and the
Yes, it's a huge
foundation for
mindset shift.
is, and the foundation is that I know why I'm here. So the purpose, my why, is pretty much a result of connecting to myself because the answer is within me.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I don't know a lot about breath work. How does the breath work bring you back to that consciousness? It shifts the state of your mind, like physically. It, that's
Yeah. The breath connects the physical, the mental, and the spiritual.
oh,
Because breathing is the physical activity. And
right.
through the breathing, you you physical breathe in. There is a difference between breathing and the breath. The
Hmm.
breath is Atman, is the life energy, is spirit. So through the breathing, you connect to the breath, and through the breath, you connect to your spirit, to your soul. And in this soul space, you know.
Hmm. Well, that's very powerful. Um, like how it all ties together, the physical, the mental, the spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like a really important message. And for me, the science of the physical part is, like I said, really, really important for people to know that there are ways that we can shift how things are showing up to us consciously and physically and all of it, actually.
I mean, one more thing. When I
Yeah.
started breathing, I heard of it, I felt it, and I went for it. I
Hmm.
didn't need anybody telling me what I should do. I didn't need to read books. I felt it. So
Hmm.
that is who I am. I feel the intuition and I go for it. And this experience creates a space where I can share with people, and I invite people to listen to their gut,
Me too.
to
I'm very
trust,
passionate about that.
to trust themselves, what this inner voice tells them. And success, for instance, I'm also working with success, with business people. There is one thing. instant decision creates success. So when
Yeah.
when I instantly know what to do, to go for it and to breathe
Hmm.
out the doubt. Our doubts are very much the blocks we have in our life. And when we
Hmm.
stop, we basically take the same thing what we would have been able to go for. We take it away. So
Hmm.
I'm the one, I felt breathing it is because it was calling me for, and all the gifts I received was my health, my vision, my life purpose, and literally now being with you and with everyone who is listening.
Wow, that's amazing. And I am, I always make decisions based upon my intuition. And part of what I do is really, I told you this, part of what I do is like readings, like intuitive readings and card readings and things like that. But it's really not about like casting out some kind of prediction to the whatever world. It's really just giving people clarity so they can, as you said, reconnect with their sense of intuition, their own sense of inner knowing, and then that's power and that's their true power. So I love that that's your purpose as well through in the way that you're doing it with the breath work. So, well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing that. All right, so we're pretty clear about what you love, what you're passionate about. So what would you never want to do for work or a profession? What would be something that just would be a complete no for a profession for you?
I never thought of that. That's
No,
not part of my thinking. What I don't want, I go for what I want.
that is very cool. If you focus on what you want, you're going to get it. Absolutely. Okay. Um, Do you like going to libraries and being surrounded by real books, or are you someone who would pop on an app and listen to a book online, or what is your preference with that?
Well, that was an interesting question because libraries were not really around, so I didn't look for it.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays my library is online.
Hmm.
So I'm reading online and listening to audiobooks.
Right.
So I'm that kind of guy, really connecting to it's light and easy. I don't need to go anywhere. I have the information available. And what I re experienced primarily is I download things. And the way how I read books is I open them and have the information I need. So I read books, but I also don't read books like just reading them. I
Hmm.
receive books as a gift and
Hmm.
then I open them on one page and there is exactly what I need. So I'm
Wow.
not reading books to read books. I have books to receive something what I need right
Right.
now. So they help me further with a topic.
So it sounds like you're about getting the information and the message, and um,
Mhm.
that's very interesting. And also, I guess with the online options, we have like so many resources, like vast amounts of information we couldn't access otherwise.
It's amazing. For instance, I have three boys and they are not going to school and we
Hmm.
are not teaching them. You know how fit they are online. They come with things and I wonder where do they have that from? Yes, we have it from YouTube. We have it from there. They
Hmm.
know how to look for information. And for children, this tool, internet, is so intuitively, it's amazing. They
I
learn
think
everything. They learn everything by themselves.
that is true. I know my daughter, who is 15, started talking about architecture the other day, and I'm like, "How do you
Yes,
know this?"
yes. They come
She's,
with things school couldn't possibly show them, and we wouldn't come to the idea because we don't know what we don't know, and they can know. And
Mhm.
there is one thing, there is an intuitive path what leads you. to certain things, and they come
Mhm.
with amazing things and deep knowledge, which is
Yes,
very amazing.
it's true. My kids blow me away with actually, very intelligent, important things they know about the world. And obviously it must have come from online or discussions with their friends. And I think
And
that people make the mistake that, there's only danger on the internet for kids. Obviously, you have to be cautious, but there's so much information that they have access to that I had no idea about at their age.
yeah,
So,
yes.
um, interesting answer to that question. And I do believe in the power of research. If you know how to find the information, it's out there. So, thank you
Well,
for
there is
that.
an energy to a library. It
Hmm.
is, and I love books.
Hmm.
But the question is what I'm doing with it. Is it about books or is it
Hmm.
about receiving the information to make the next step? And that's
Yeah.
not necessarily the same thing.
No,
Uh,
but it sounds like you're pretty clear about your path with that. So,
yeah.
okay, interesting answer. Thank you. Okay, so what is the most daring thing that you have done?
I went to Mumbai.
Yeah. Was
I
that out of
went
your
to
comfort zone?
That was very much out of my comfort zone because how it happened. So it's not daring to go to India, but how it came about was very powerful. And literally at the end to go to Mumbai without any money. So that was the most powerful, daring thing I did, and it
Oh,
changed my life.
wow. So how did the opportunity come up? What happened?
Oh, well, I came into a Facebook group which is around being, which is called The Ultimate Coach.
Hmm.
And in this group, I heard of an experience in Mumbai, and I wondered what that is. And then I heard an interview of the most successful coach in the world, Steve Hardison, around what who do you need to be in Mumbai for this experience for one day. And that really, really caught me. Who would I
Hmm.
need to be to go to India for one day to experience whatever happens there, which is supposedly a miracle?
Hmm.
So, and I didn't know how to create that, how to do that. So it wasn't like I had the money, and so I felt the commitment to go there. And over time, things, it's a long story. And by the way, this is a story around room 509. So this breathing coming to the continents twice a week, there I share the story in detail.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
it
And
was
what?
just it was just an amazing thing where I never thought that is possible. And at the
Wow.
end, I went to Mumbai without money, being on this
Really?
experience. Yes, and miracles happened.
Oh my gosh.
Miracles happened that everything was covered and getting invited, and I received the journey to go to every continent, which
Hmm.
happened in room 509 in Mumbai. That's the reason for the name. And room
Wow.
509 is also these 2 weekly meetings about coming to the continents and breathing. So I
Okay.
invite everyone coming into room 509, which is about bravery, connecting, giving, and receiving fully.
Wow. That's incredible. So you said it changed your life. What was the biggest thing that changed for you after that?
Well, I had a vision about 20 years ago to go to the world with breathing, and it didn't make any sense.
Hmm.
And in Mumbai, this vision became true. After Mumbai, I went out to travel to every continent in the world.
Wow. Wow. So
Yes,
that's
that's powerful.
definitely
So
the
I
power
create
of following your
so
gut instinct for
so
sure. That's
so
incredible.
I created this subconsciously for 20
Yeah.
years, and here it is.
Wow. That's the power of manifestation. Wow. And things happening in the background to make it happen. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is there something you wish that you had said yes to?
If I wouldn't have gone to Mumbai, I would have wished to say yes to.
Mm-hmm. But
But I
that kind
went.
of circles back to the question before where you have nothing that you regret. So you said yes. Good.
Yes.
Okay, so
Actually,
maybe
that's who I am. If there is something, I say yes to, and then I do it. That is who I am.
I think that's so important to be committed to yourself and your yes, your no, whatever it is that you're saying to like honor that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So you may have just shared this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is a pivotal moment that changed things for you?
Well,
Was
there
that
is
it? Is something else?
well, there is two
Okay.
to start the breathing training 22 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and as a result of it, to go to Mumbai.
Hmm. Amazing. It just I love how that lined up. It took some time, at least what we perceive to be time, and it lined up. So really do believe in the power of putting our clear intentions out, and that some way they're going to come together if we're focused on them. Okay. What is something that you thought that you would like, but then ended up not liking at all?
Well, that doesn't exist. Everything makes sense. Usually, when we don't like something, later on we understand what it was good for.
That's true. Yeah. There's a lot of power in the lessons as well. So I get that.
Absolutely. We only learn through the things we don't like. So I love them all.
I love that. If you could share only one thing about yourself with others, what would it be?
I'm my word.
Hmm. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I am my word.
That is so powerful to me. Um, I believe in the power of words. I think sometimes people have a tendency to take words lightly, to play around with them, but I believe in the power of your word, what you say about yourself, and how you commit to yourself and others through that. So
Yeah.
I love that statement. Anything you wanted to add to that? Or it kind of speaks to itself.
Well, it's interesting. When I look for people, I look for exactly that because I don't want to waste time with people who tell us, say a lot and don't do it. I want to be
Hmm.
with people who are actually also that, so we really powerfully can co-create.
Yes, it's like a shared mission statement. I love that. And co-creation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your favorite word and why?
Love.
Mine too.
And why? It creates openness.
Hmm.
Even when there is negativity, it doesn't
Mhm.
need any surrounding. Love creates openness and possibilities.
That is true. And I think, well, in my experience, it's really a, I think that for myself, that's the biggest struggle is to bring love to difficult situations where you want to be angry or lash out or just sort of understanding that that person is feeling how they're feeling or whatever the conflict may be for reasons that aren't really about you, but just understanding that lovingly and
Yeah,
kindly.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I love you.
ah, love you too. What is your least favorite word and why?
It doesn't exist.
I love that.
words just have an energy, a meaning, and there is a position, a situation when the word makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not about maybe war, yes. I mean, it's not about I don't like the word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the circumstance. The question is, how did it come about and what is my position in it? But it's not
Right.
about the word. When I don't like the word, it doesn't change the reality.
That is true. Yes. That's powerful.
War
I
is
love
just a
the
word for the circumstance which is there.
right.
And we as humanity have to think how we can stop that. Where is my journey to take one conscious breath? And
Mm-hmm.
I certainly believe if Putin and Biden and the Ukraine president, if they would take a conscious breath together, just imagine, they consciously know that each of them takes one conscious breath in the same moment. It brings them on the same level. I mean, today, I certainly think they wouldn't do that because
Wow.
there is
That
so
kind
much
of gave me
hate. There is so much hate. There is so much, even when they're diplomatic, quite kind, in
mhm.
their inner soul, they're not kind. There is something what keeps them away
Mhm.
from having a conversation.
Yes. That statement kind of gave me chills because yeah, it really kind of brought home the point that at the end of the day, even though we think we are in different places, different viewpoints, different countries, different
Yes,
whatever, we
yes,
really are the same. And
yes, yes,
technically, I get your vision now. That just kind of brought clarity to me. That is kind of like if we can all breathe the same consciously, then we'll realize that we're all just humanity.
yes. And at the end, it doesn't matter if the Krim is Russian or Ukraine. If the Russians want to go to Krim, they can. Come on.
Hmm.
Nobody says Russians are not allowed to go there. They could have gone there anytime.
Hmm.
Now there is
Hmm.
the conflict. It's like there is this I want to own and I want to submiss you. And
Yes,
when we breathe together and we realize you am I and I am you, I'm submissing me. So it doesn't make any sense unless a certain consciousness is not there.
exactly. Well, that's really powerful. Yes, I really love that. And I don't know, in that statement you just made, I get the conscious breathing so much more. It makes so much sense and the unity it can bring to yourself and to
I
others
th
as well.
I think it can be very easy and unspectacular, and at the end it will be. And
Yes,
our world, we think we need to make it very complicated. So
we
at the
do.
end, the breathing we are doing is very natural, very simple, and it's very creative.
Yes,
So
keeping it simple. That's so important. Hmm.
yes,
Okay, well, this question, um, I have this feeling that you don't argue, but if you did, do you fight fair? If you have gotten into any kind of, you know, differences of opinion, how do you go about that?
a fight is never fair.
Hmm.
There is rules, and if there is rules, I go for the rules.
Hmm.
Unfairness usually comes when there is no rules set and everybody can do what they want.
Mm,
If there is clear rules, I play with the rules.
right.
And unfairness would be not to accept the rules and still doing something else. That is what is unfair. When there is no
Right.
rules, there is nothing like fairness. Because I have another perception of fairness than you, only always.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that speaks to the need for boundaries and clarity around boundaries and things like that.
And it's a social thing, and it's a question of connection. Look,
Hmm.
the Native Americans were in the States for I don't know how long. And then the white people came and were totally disconnected from nature and took their land and
Hmm.
killed the bisons. They
Yes,
destroyed the nature. That was their
exactly.
perception of what they're doing. There was no rules because there
Yes.
was no connection. What happened is the indigenous people were connected to their nature and the white people were not connected at all. They were fear-driven.
Mhm.
So
Right.
fairness, was it fair? Basically, you know, there was not actually a fight. It was like somebody takes somebody's land.
Hmm.
It's unconscious. It was unconscious.
Wow. That's a very different perspective about that. And that's, yeah, I see that. It's about perceptions, it's about boundaries, it's about agreements.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they're not in place, then I guess there are no rules to be fair or unfair.
Coming back to the question, if there is clear rules, I'm very fair because I'm going for staying in the rules.
Okay. Thank you. I can respect that. Um, who in history would you like to help or stop?
Nobody. Everything made sense what happened.
Hmm. I guess that comes back to the previous question where, circumstances are about the lessons and about bringing things into, I don't
Yeah.
know, falling into place the way they need to.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Hmm.
made us who we are today.
Yes. Along those lines, do you feel that as people we are evolving for the better? I think that's a big debate that we are always talking about whether things are getting better today on a human conscious level or they're getting worse, or just
Well,
what
that's
is your
a
general perception of that?
well, that's an interesting question. I saw a YouTube documentary about that, and that was very interesting to see from this perspective that in average, since ever, human, even we become more people, everyone in average was in a better place than before.
Hmm.
So in this way, if I see it this way, we are better than ever.
Hmm.
We are masters in making dramas, even when we have more and better quality. So we make really problems where are no ones. I mean, there is issues we have to solve, but because of the situation, when we look really at the situation, we could be just grateful and celebrate about what we have.
That
And
would change a lot of things.
there was one French mathematician, Blaise Pascal, I think it was in the 15th century, and he said one thing, all human misery comes from human inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
Mm. Wow.
So, so as
That is
soon,
very, very powerful. Very
so as
powerful.
soon we are not at home, able to be with ourselves, we create misery, we create gossiping, we create thinking about things and they get bigger and bigger and we are not really home. We are not really connected. And there we come back, being home alone and in peace, you are certainly breathing consciously.
Wow. Yes. I can relate to that on so many levels. And that is a really, really powerful statement. I see it in myself many times, and then I witnessed it in people I care about deeply. In general, yeah, it's human nature. And
Yeah.
that's, wow, a huge, huge lesson and a skill to learn, if you would call it
Yeah.
a skill. I guess just being who you are at
Yeah.
peace is really something that we're not kind of, I would say, I don't know, encouraged to do by society. I think a society, at least in North America, really encourages people to, this to go out, get to find the next sort of hit of something, right? To distract them.
Yes. And we can take it on or we don't. It's our thing. As
Right.
food, we can eat the food which is there, or we can look for the food. And as it's not very simple to be there, we
Mm-hmm.
live on the land, we live in the village, and we eat basically most of the food from our garden because you have no idea what you're eating when you go to the supermarket. You
Right.
literally have no idea what it is and where it's coming from. There are so
Yes.
many things around it. I talked to a person just yesterday. Even when you buy something packed and there is standing the origin,
Mm-hmm.
usually the origin is where that stuff was packed and not where it
Right.
was coming from. So you
Mm-hmm.
really have no idea what it is, where it's coming from, and how it was treated. And what we take in, I'm in fasting. I literally feel how my body is different, even when I don't eat the healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
Just experience when you have food which is chemical constipate, how you say,
Consist
um,
composition.
when there is chemicals in and whatever, and medicaments, a lot of antibiotics in the animals. Of course, it
Mhm.
has an impact on you, and you have no idea why. You're under medical influence.
Right.
You possibly don't take medicals, and you still have the impact of medicals because the animal meat you eat had it. So it's a
Yes.
really conscious choice what I eat and what I do and what I create.
Yeah, that is very powerful. And I think especially, well, actually, a close friend of mine traveled to Europe um, in the fall, and she was just talking about the difference in the food because she was eating a lot of freshly farmed organic produce and things like that, where there's a few people who grow food here in North America in their gardens or whatever, but it's not a large practice. So everything here is pretty much from the supermarket, 90% of it. So she was just saying that for those 2 weeks she was away eating the organic homegrown produce and things like that, she did feel a big difference. So yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next question. All right. I don't know if you indulge in any kind of snacking, but would you choose sweet, sour candy, chocolate, or something a little bit salty?
I love all of them and everything at the right time.
Right.
And I realized that recently. I'm on planes right now, and nowadays you don't get food, but a little snack when you go somewhere. And
Right.
I realized sometimes I take the sweet, and sometimes I take the salty.
Right.
I love all tastes,
Hmm.
and it's a question of what I want right now, what I need, what I feel
Right.
right for me right now. But I love all
Okay.
of them. I'm not damning sugar. I love chocolate,
Hmm.
but I
Hmm.
don't eat a lot of it. But when I eat
Right.
it, I really enjoy it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, everything at the right timing.
Yes,
Um, So I think you answered this, but when you make decisions, do you follow your gut instinct or the facts?
abs absolutely. I mean, there is a ratio, but the
Hmm.
gut is very much involved. It's a full body decision.
Amazing. I love that so much. And the last question is, what fictional place would you visit if you had the opportunity to go to somewhere imaginary that you've heard about?
Well, what came first to my mind, interestingly, was Pandora.
Oh, okay. And why would you choose that?
Well, I watched the movie, and
Hmm.
I was very resonating with this. Resonating. I know our world is under earth. There is the mushrooms.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everything is connected. And I love the communication of nature.
Ah,
What we don't see, we think we destroy a big tree, like in the
Mhm.
movie. We destroyed a huge tree, and we think we destroyed their home, and we
Mhm.
forget that everything is their home.
Yes.
And when we
Yeah.
destroy one part, everything else is coming for us because everything is defending their home. And that is
Um,
wonderful in the movie displayed.
I love that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So that was the last question. So I really appreciate your time, your being here, sharing your story, your mission, your passion. Is there
Thank-
anything else you'd like to add? I'm going to definitely put out your contact information so people can connect further with you about what you're doing, your travels, or workshops, those things. But thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. I think everything is said. What is really my point is, when you see someone, you feel attracted or you don't feel attracted. We could
Mhm.
speak for another 2 hours, but it's not necessary.
Yes, there's so many stories. So yeah, hopefully we can circle back to that at another time. But all right, well, thank you so much, and
Thank
I will let you go, get ready for your next part of your day, the breathing circle, and hopefully we'll speak soon. So have a beautiful day.
Yeah, Nancy, thank you very much for the invitation. I love you. Thank you for all the questions which made me really thinking about some things I wouldn't have thought in this depth. So it was a really creative process for me to
Thank you for that, and love you too, and I love what you're doing. So all right, take care, and we'll speak soon. Okay, bye for
Yes,
now.
thank you. Bye bye, Nancy.